Hey traders, Steven here, your honest trading coach, back with another video. And one of the most important things you can have whenever you start trading is a trading platform that you are comfortable using. And that's why in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys my favorite trading platform, which is TradingView.com. I don't only want to show you guys how to open an account with them and start your free trial or use their basic version that's absolutely free, but also I want to show you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the past few years that can make using TradingView a much more efficient and easy process for you. I'll try to put some timestamps up somewhere on either the left or right hand side of the screen, and you can click ahead to whatever you need right now. They'll also be in the description. So with that being the case, let's actually go ahead, dive in, and get started talking about TradingView by starting a free trial and starting with just that basic version. So let's do that now. Before I do though, this is a platform that works with all different types of markets. So you can use this in order to do analysis on Forex, which is what I primarily trade, or cryptocurrency or stock trading. But let's take a look at what they have to offer. By the way, again, before we get started, I don't have an affiliate link with them. I'm not affiliated with TradingView in any way, shape, or form. It's just, in my opinion, the best trading platform online right now. So what we have here is the different options that they carry. You can either get the basic version, which is going to have ads, and you can read the features yourself right here. So I'm not going to read through them. Just once you go to TradingView and you click free trial, you'll be able to read through these features and figure out which option is best for you. What we're going to do right now is just start a free trial, or start the basic version, which is absolutely free. I'm going to sign up real quick. And now, after going through that sign up process, they make you verify your email. All the regular sign up process that we go through for pretty much everything these days happens. And now you can just come over here and click chart. This is how you get to the actual trading part of TradingView. And what I'm going to do is show you, one, how to create watch lists. And actually, let's start with chart properties. What that means is the visual side of the chart. I always delete volume because in Forex trading, I've never found a way to use volume efficiently. But in order to get to chart properties, which is what we're going to start with here, we're going to go from this top left right up here where I can see my settings bar here. And we're going to go left from there. And I'm going to talk you through every single part of the TradingView platform. So with that said, going into chart properties, the first thing we're going to notice is it's going to be on symbol. And what you can do here is change the way your bars look. So you can change the color of the body. If you want to have black and red instead of green and red, whatever you want to do here. I'm not going to go super deep into this because it's literally just opinion based. What would you like your candles to look like? That's all you're really answering here on the settings for your symbol. You're just deciding what you want your chart to look like. So another option you have is the last price line, which is going to show you a horizontal line where price is. You can either have that or not have it. You can show where the previous daily close was. And there's a few other options here. I'm not going to read through every one of them. Feel free to go through this and read and see if it's something you want to add to your chart. High and low prices is going to show you the highest price you currently see on the chart in a horizontal line, which is right here. And as you can see, that horizontal line comes across at 0.7160, and the lowest price that you can currently see on the chart, which if I move this out of the way, you can see is right here. So back to chart properties. As I said, go down through here, figure out what you want on the chart, what you don't want on the chart, and this is how you customize the symbol itself and the chart itself. The next thing we have is the status line. And although I don't really know exactly what status line stands for, I can tell you what each of these does. Clicking the symbol, if you'll look right up here with me, is going to take away or show the actual symbol that you are using. As in right now, we're on the New Zealand dollar. So it's going to show me New Zealand versus the US dollar. It's going to show me the time frame and the brokerage that I'm using in order to collect that data from. So if you click, you do not want that, it'll just disappear. That's all you got to know about that. Show open market status. From having this checked and not checked, just shows you a green dot when the market is open. You can see whenever I click it here, then the green dot goes away. OHLC values shows you the open, high, low, and close values of the candle that you hover over, or the present candle if you don't hover over anything. So the current candle trading, it'll show you the open, high, low, and close. Next up, we have bar change values, which is the number you see beside OHLC. This is the amount a particular bar changed. Whenever you hover over a bar, if I hover over this bar right here on the 18th of June at 1600, it's going to tell me the open, high, low, and close of that bar, plus the fact that it changed by roughly 1 pip compared to the previous bar, or by 0.01%. So that's what the bar change values is going to show you. Next up, we have show buy and sell buttons. If I click that, you'll see, let me point it out for you real quick. Right up here is your buy and sell buttons. What that means is you can press this button to sell, and you can press this button to buy. If you don't want to see that on your chart, by the way, in between right here is the current spread of that market. If you don't want to see that, all you got to do is uncheck show buy and sell buttons. Indicator titles. This is something that a lot of traders that have gone through our programs, plus traders here on YouTube, get kind of confused about here on TradingView. And I actually need to have an indicator on the chart before I show you that. So hold on just a second. Let's go here. Let's put on the ATR, one by far my favorite indicator. And let's move it up to the top by clicking this arrow to move it to the top pane. Scrunch it up. So now, whenever I go back to chart properties, what you'll notice if I take off indicator titles, looking right up here, is that there no longer is a title to this that shows me ATR. Watch what happens whenever I check it. It does say ATR. And for those of you who this is remedial information for, I understand that a lot of this can be done just by clicking through here yourself. But anybody that's a beginner and completely new to the platform, I want to get you to a point where you know what every button does. And I know, as I said, a lot of this may be remedial to some of you, but feel free to fast forward to points that you don't understand so that you come away from the video with value and you come away completely understanding TradingView as a trading platform. Indicator arguments. Clicking that will show you that we have, it's the arguments of the indicator. So for the ATR, we have a 14 period RMA ATR indicator. What that means, let me do this so I can explain this further. If I click settings, it's pretty much the settings of your indicator. That's what arguments means, is the length and the smoothing ratio of your actual indicator. So whenever it asks you if you want to see the arguments on your chart, that's what it means. And if I go ahead and take that away, you'll see that RMA goes away. Indicator values. I've actually ran into this a lot with some of our clients, is they'll accidentally have this not checked. And look what happens whenever I do that. Look right up here at the ATR indicator. They'll email me and be like, Steven, why is my value for the ATR not showing up? Well, it's because somehow, some way, if you'll look up here again, now that's not showing, they have accidentally clicked indicator values. So with that being the case, my camera's about to die and I actually don't have a charger with me. So the rest of this video, you will not be able to see my face, but you will still get plenty of value out of it. So let's continue. Next up, we have background. If we go like this, which my background is set to white, this just changes the opacity of your background. Pretty easy to understand. Let's go ahead and move down now to scales. Scales. And it's going to show you everything in the scales means it's going to be happening on the scales, the Y and X axis, if you will, on this particular chart. So you'll notice right here, it says New Zealand dollar now. That's because on the scale, I clicked to show the symbol name. Next up, we have symbol last price. So if you don't want to know what the last price of this particular asset is, you can click away from that. I'll always keep that running. Next up, we have the previous day close. So you can show the previous day's close over here on the right-hand side of the scale. Next up, we have bid and ask labels. This will show you the price for you to buy and sell based on the spread by showing the bid and the ask prices. I'm going to take that away because I don't like seeing that. Next up, we have high and low price labels showing you the highest price on the chart that you can currently visually see and the lowest price on the chart you can currently visually see. To make that more clear, if I move the chart over, you'll see that those prices change based on what is visual to me at this current moment. Next up, let's go back to chart properties and take that away. We have average close price label. This is the average closing price of every candle you can currently see on the chart. As you can see, it changes as I move the chart back and forth. I don't like seeing that, have no use for it in my own personal trading. Indicator name label. I can click that and now you'll see that my ATR indicator shows me ATR on this scale here to the right. Indicator last value label, that'll show me, again, the same thing. It'll show me the value of the indicator, but over here to the far right edge. Next up, financial name label. This will show me the name of any type of financials going on, but we don't have that in Forex, so we'll skip over those two. No overlapping labels. That just means that instead of, if I had a label, let's put it this way, that happened at exactly 0.7034, then it would show it slightly above 0.7034 to keep it from overlapping and to make it visually appealing, to make sure that I could actually see it. So I always keep that checked. Countdown, to bar close. It's this little number you see right here that says 40 minutes and 52 seconds. That's the countdown to the next bar close. Exactly what it says it is. The currency that I'm currently looking at. As you can see up here, it says USD, and this actually may be the currency that my account is in. Yeah, that may be what this is. I honestly don't know. I've never used it, but I'll keep it checked for now. Next up, we have the plus button. Plus means that you can add, like whenever I come over here, you see this little plus? That means that I can click it and add an alert immediately. So if I don't want that plus button, I just take it away and it's not there anymore. I like to keep it checked in case I want to come up here and place an alert or a limit order up at a certain price just by clicking that little addition arrow. Lock price bar ratio, I've never used it, don't even know what it is. If you know what it is, hopefully it's helpful to you. Scales placement, I always do auto. I don't know what the other ones actually even do, so I just put it on auto. Date format, I keep it exactly how it is. I guess you could go and whatever your country's normal date format is, or if you would rather, instead of it saying September 29th, you just want it to say 9/29, you could do that. So all of this is just the customizable parts of the scales looking left and down, right and down. Next up, the appearance. Very self-explanatory. This is going to be the appearance of your chart. If you want to have some kind of gradient background that looks like this, or if you want to just have regular solid backgrounds, if you want to make it a different color, you know how to change appearances of things, so I will leave you to that. You can also make sure that you have grid lines up and down, vertical and horizontal, or if you're like me and you just like blank backgrounds, you can do this, which is what I do. I just take the opacity down. Session break lines is going to show you the different sessions. Scales text, you can change the size of this to as big as you want. That looks kind of funny though, so I always keep it at 12. Scales lines, you can change the color to make it darker, as you can see, which is what just happened, or a little bit lighter, as you can see, like what just happened. You can change your crosshairs, which are, if I make it darker, you can see it better, the little crosshairs that I have on the screen right now. I like to have them slightly lighter just so that they're not in the way for me. You can add a watermark, which looks like that, or take it away. I don't like it. Navigation buttons are located down here, and I have them set to visible whenever I hover over them with a mouse. As you can see, they're not there. If I hover over them, they're there. Pane buttons, same exact thing. Top margin, I don't mess with any of this. So that's how you can change a little bit about the appearance of your chart. Trading, these settings, you can either show the position you're in or take it away. And whenever you have it showing, it will show you your position on this side of the screen. It'll show you where you bought in. If you have a stop loss or a target, and then same thing for stop and target, it'll show you your position size and the amount of money you're up and down on. If you don't want that to be shown at all you have to do is click do not show my positions. And then you can also show your profit and loss in money, pips, or percentages. I like just showing it in money. Showing your orders means the orders that have not been filled yet. So that would be your limit orders and your stop orders. Don't know what a connecting line is. I've never messed with that setting. Extend lines left. This is going to extend the lines for your orders. Like if I had a position on right here, instead of it just showing this big, it would extend the line all the way. Show executions. This is going to show little arrows where you placed your order on the exact candle you placed those executions. So as soon as you bought, if you were to have bought right here on this green candle, it would have a blue arrow showing that you bought right there, showing your execution. Next up, instant order placement is this up here where you can just click sell. You can also, right now if I click it, I have to confirm. Instant order placement means you have no confirmation. It just places the order as soon as you do that. Show rejection notifications only. I have no idea what that does. And here you can see that it just says show buy and sell buttons. As we talked about earlier, that's just these buttons right up here. I've never used this before, so I have no idea what it is. Also, I've never used that before, so I have no idea what it is. If you do, awesome. Now you know where it's located. Next up, events. I can decide to show events like what you see down here, which is just political events that are happening in the future, or I can choose not to see them. Actually, just this specifically shows dividends, this shows splits, this shows earnings, this shows economic events, so I can take that away or leave it on. So that is everything you need to know in the chart settings, chart properties area. Hopefully, if you were confused about any of that, you are not confused any longer. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about chart layouts. So right here, what I always do is I rename it to whatever you would like to name it. For me, I'm just going to do test chart 1. What this allows you to do, if you have back testing data or you have a certain setup you're looking at on one chart, you can then go, okay, well, I have that. I want to create a new chart layout so that I don't lose that. And I can't do that with this plan. But if you do have a pro plan, what you can do is just click a new chart layout and you can have multiple chart layouts. You can have test chart 1, or you can have a structure-based trading layout. Then you can have a trend-based trading layout. The possibilities are endless. This is just how you go through and edit / create new / load saved chart layouts. Next up, we have your chart layout, as in how many charts do you want to see on the screen. I don't know if you can do this with the basic version. We'll try it. Nope, you can't. But if you wanted to have split charts, that's how you would do it. You would get the higher tier plans and you could split your charts, as you can see, in so many different ways. It's not even funny. And what it'll do is just show the New Zealand dollar on one frame, and then you can have a split down the screen like so, and you'll see a different currency pair on this side. Next up, after we go past the layouts, is the market replay tool. If you are backtesting, this is awesome. You can just take your market. Well, again, a lot of these options apparently are not available for this basic plan. That's totally fine. The plans are not expensive whatsoever. I think they're only like $15 a month for you to get access to all of these. But long story short, market replay literally just allows you to replay the market as if it was in real time, one bar at a time. Alerts are self-explanatory. You just create alerts. You can make these alerts send you text messages or emails or just notify you on your computer. And you can have this platform notify you for a few different things. If it's crossing your alert in either direction, or if it's crossing up or down. And feel free to pause the video and read through the other ways that you can actually use this to set up alerts. It's really beneficial if you're someone who has prior obligations to set up alerts to know when you're actually needing to look at your chart. So it's something I use quite often, actually. Next up, we have templates. And I am positive that I can't use any of these. And to be honest with you, I've never used any of these templates. You can kind of go through here and see if there's any of them that you like. Feel free to look around. Personally, I don't use templates. I just have my own chart layout that I use. Next up, we have financials, which is not going to matter at all for us here on Forex. This will matter for you if you're someone who does fundamental analysis in the stock market. Feel free to scope through this area. Then the exciting stuff, indicators. What we're going to do right now is add a couple of other indicators to this. I'm going to add an exponential moving average, and we'll go with the RSI. But in order to get indicators, that's all you have to do. Go to indicators and just type in whichever indicator you would like to put on your chart, or you can go to built-ins and just scroll through to see the ones that are built into the platform. And you can also go to the public library where you can find indicators that were built by other contributors to TradingView's indicator list. You can also compare different symbols. So if I wanted to compare the New Zealand dollar to the euro dollar to see the correlation between the two, I could do that here, and maybe I can't do that here. That may be something, again, that is exclusive to the paid plans. This little button right here is how you change your candlesticks from actual candles to hollow candles. You can go with Heikin-Ashi candles. For those of you interested in that, you can just go look at bar charts. For those of you who like to keep it simple, or if you want to keep it really simple, you can look at line charts. All of these are just your different types of charts that you can use here on the TradingView platform. Beside that, we have our time frames. In order to pick your time frames, all you do is click that. And what I like to do is save my favorites by clicking this little star. So I'll favorite the 4 hour and the daily, which are the two time frames I look at the most. 1 hour directly following that. Now with those favorited, you can see all three of them are up here easily for me to be able to actually get to. Next up, this is where you pick your actual currency pair. You can type it in. I'm going to show you how to create a watch list in just a second, but that's how you would actually type in and search for a currency pair, stock, or cryptocurrency that you're looking to do analysis on. Other than that, we have our full menu here on TradingView. You can read through all of this to figure out what kind of different options they have for you here, like keyboard shortcuts. You can go with a dark theme, which is great if you are someone who really doesn't want to hurt your eyes. You can just go with this dark theme. Personally, throughout the past decade of trading, my eyes are probably already shot. So with that being the case, I'm just going to turn that off. Now on the left side panel, what you'll realize is a lot of these are just drawing tools, things we can actually do and place onto the chart itself, starting with whether or not you want these crosshairs that you can see on my screen. So instead of crosshairs, I could have crosshairs but have a dot. I could have a regular arrow, which has no crosshairs. Or I can have an eraser, which just erases stuff. Personally, I just deal with the crosshairs themselves. And actually, I prefer the dot just to make things visually appealing for me. The next section you'll see right here, you can hover over it and see, if you hover over this little area, what these are. This is just trend line tools. All these are just lines that you can draw on the chart. I'm not going to go through each and every one of them. That's something you can do, but now you know how to find all the trend line tools you'll need, like trend lines and extended lines. This is also where you can find horizontal lines that continue, or something I like to use a lot, which is horizontal rays. You can put an horizontal ray will continue this way, but not this way. You can also find vertical rays and vertical lines in that trend line section as well. Next up, if you hover over that very small arrow, you can see that this is your Fibonacci tools. This is where you can find fib retracements and trend lines. And in the same way we used the star to add to our favorites on the time frames, you can click the little star and it'll start you a favorites bar. I actually like to do this with the trend line tool, the horizontal line, horizontal ray, and vertical lines. I also do this with a few other tools, but it just makes it really easy to access right up here instead of having to go all the way over here to the left. So after the Fibonacci tools, we have geometric shapes. What this is exactly what it sounds like. It's geometric shapes like rectangles or circles or triangles, any kind of shape you can think of. And it also comes with a freehand drawing brush as well in that section. Feel free to go through that and see what other geometric shapes you would like to use. After that, we have annotation tools, which means you writing and annotating on the chart. There are plenty of these to choose from. If I click the button there, you can see that you can do little call outs with balloons or squares. You can do arrows to mark things, flags, or a full little note that you can hide and then click over and that note will pop up. Next up, we have patterns. So what this is going to show you is things like advanced patterns, Elliott wave impulse moves. If you use any of this, then this is going to be a good section for you to look through. Next up, one of the questions I get asked most is, Steven, where do you find that cool position tool that you use to point out stops and targets? This is where that's located, prediction and measurement tools. If I click that, you'll see short and long position. I always favor these. And the reason I use this is it's just a really good visual representation of where you need price to go to hit your target and where you need price to go to stop you out. But it's just as easy to take a ruler and decide this is how many pips to my target and this is how many pips to my stop loss. This is just a visual representation of that. So in terms of prediction and measurement tools, those are the only two I actually use. Feel free to look around here and see if there's anything else you would like to look at. Next up, we have icons, which is just going to be a bunch of things you can place on the chart. You can look through that and decide if you want to use any of it. Then we have our regular ruler tool, which is going to tell you the distance up and down in pips for Forex, in dollars and cents, in crypto, and in stocks. But in Forex, it's going to be in pips. So we can see if I push down, it's going to show me that this move was a negative 300 pip move from top to bottom. A cool thing about the measurement tool as well, the ruler, is that it can show you how many bars there are across. So right here, you can see that there's 347 bars across, and that it was a time span of 18 days and 9 hours to make all of those bars. You can also zoom in with this little magnifying glass to whatever you would like to on the chart and as small as you would like to go. Next up, we have zoom in and zoom out manually. I personally don't use these whatsoever. I just zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, and I use my mouse wheel in order to zoom in and out. Next up, we have magnet mode. This attaches your drawing tools to the closest bar. So if I go right here, you'll see that I'm attached now to that bar. Attached. I literally hate this mode, so I always take it out of magnet mode. Next up, we have stay in drawing mode. Let me explain what that means. Right now, if I'm staying in drawing mode, I don't have to keep clicking the trend line tool to keep drawing the trend line. If I click away from that, watch what happens. I draw one trend line and then I have to come back up here and click in order to draw my next trend line, click, draw my next trend line, so on and so forth. So I like to keep things in draw mode. When you're doing that, all you have to do is right click and then it'll take you out of draw mode. You can lock your chart completely or lock all the drawing tools by clicking that. And you can also hide all of the drawing tools if you would like to, or hide all the indicators if you would like to. And this button just deletes every drawing tool that you have. It's a big trash can, so it's kind of self-explanatory. Here's a little intermission. Guys, I know that a lot of this might be boring, but again, this is just for those of you who are brand new to using TradingView. I want to ensure that you know exactly how to use this trading platform. So we're going to continue doing this as we push down here and start going sideways. As I said, self-explanatory. This is going to change the time that you see from 1 day to 5 days. You can change it to 1 month. And what I mean by that is the time you can actually see on the charts. So distance from here to here is all that's changing with these. You can go to a specific time by clicking this button here. If we continue left, this changes the time zone in which you are in. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so New York time is where I need to be. All you have to do is go find your exact time zone, or you can choose to go with New York time if you would like. I do not know what any of these other buttons do because I have never used them. So therefore, down here we have a stock screener. I do not use this whatsoever. Feel free to play around with it if you'd like to. You have text notes that you can obviously use to take notes with. You have the Pine editor. I do not use this whatsoever, but this is for you if you like to code your own strategies and code your own indicators. If that's something you're interested in, then this is where you'll need to be for that. We have Strategy Tester, which is where you test things from the Pine editor, and Trading Panel is how you connect to a brokerage. These, whatever you see, whenever you click Trading Panel, is the brokerages that are allowed to be connected to TradingView in your specific area. In the United States, these are the brokers I'm allowed to connect to. Personally, I always connect to Awanda, which is my brokerage of choice. It's not a recommendation. Do your own due diligence. I've just never had a reason to leave Awanda, and it's the brokerage I've used since the beginning of my own trading career. In order to connect with a brokerage, it's super easy. Go to that brokerage, create an account, then just click connect. And it'll be so easy, it's not even funny. Just put in all of your information. It'll automatically connect you to that brokerage. As we continue left, we come to the Help Center. If you have any questions, this is where you'll need to go. It's the big question mark to the bottom right. We also come to an object tree, which is going to show you all of the things that you have drawn on the chart, as well as the indicators that you have on the chart. That's this little 3 squares down here at the bottom. Pushing up, DOM is something I don't use at all, but it shows you, specifically it shows you the spread, and I'm guessing it can show you other things, but as I said, personally, I don't even use it, so I have no idea. Next up, we have the order panel. I'm not connected to a broker, but this is where you would place your order. This is where you would have, actually, let me just connect to pay-per-view. Pay-per-view? What am I connecting to, some kind of boxing match? I mean paper trading. Now that I've connected to paper trading, you can see that this is the exact order panel. You can buy or sell, set your take profit and stop loss. The really cool thing about TradingView is once you set a stop loss, it shows you what you're risking in dollars. And you can also choose to risk a certain amount in dollars or in percentage, which is really beneficial when placing orders. All of that's available in the TradingView order panel. Next up, we have notifications. This obviously is where you will get any notifications. We move right along. This is going to be everything that other people have posted. It's called streams. Next up above that, we have Ideas Stream, which is going to be your ideas that you've posted to the TradingView platform. After that, private chats. Obviously, I have none on this brand new account. We have public chats where you can see what other traders are talking about and whatever you specifically enjoy listening to. In this case, it is Forex. Next up, we have My Ideas. This is where your ideas will actually be posted at. Above that, we have a calendar, which will show you economic events on the specific currency pair you're on. In the case of Forex, it will also show you financial events like earnings reports and things of that nature in stocks. I'm not sure what kind of news events that it shows on crypto because I don't use this at all in my own personal trading. Next up, we have a hot list, which is going to show you the US exchange volume gainers, which means the stocks with the highest amount of volume gained throughout the day. It also shows you the biggest percentage gainers, and it also shows you the biggest percentage losers. Now you can change this to whatever you would like. If you don't want to see USA exchange stocks, you can change this to Forex. You can change it to different countries, whatever you would like. Again, it's not something I use, but if it's something you would like to use, feel free to play around with it. After that, we have the data window, which is going to show you all the data you need from your chart, meaning the date, the time, and if you'll notice with me, it's the date and time of the candle you hover over. If you're not hovering over anything, it's the exact candle being printed by the market right now. It'll show you the indicators that you have and their value, the open, high, low, close, and percent change of the asset that you're on. That is all available in your data window. Next up, we have a news center, which will show you all the news for that particular asset that's coming up and that has been released recently. Next up, we have alerts, very self-explanatory. This is just allows you to create alerts and also will show you where your alerts are. For instance, if I add an alert here, you'll see that it's now active and I can see it in my alerts tab. And finally, we have watch lists. So this is something I like to do, which is I go to watch list, I create a new list, and apparently with the free version, you actually can't create a watch list. That is really, really shitty. Sorry about that, guys. That sucks. But if you want to create a watch list, I guess you'll have to get one of the paid versions. And it's just as easy as going here, going create new watch list. I normally do this for Forex pairs, for stocks that I'm paying attention to, and for the cryptos that I'm paying attention to. Now, when adding currency pairs, specifically in the Forex market, to a watch list, watch what happens here. If I go to Euro USD, you'll see that there's a few different options here. I have FXCM, I have Oanda, I have Forex.com, IDC, SAXO, Capital.com. I have all kinds of options here, right? So the main thing you want to remember is that you want to add whatever brokerage it is that you're going to choose, add their data. So for me, I use Oanda. I want to make sure the brokerage, Oanda, and is the symbol that I add. I not only add euro dollar, but I add the Oanda version of euro dollar. So make sure to use and add the currency pair connected to the brokerage that you're actually using when you're creating a watch list. This is where you publish ideas in this little blue box here. This is how you take a snapshot, and this is how you go full screen mode. So the only other thing, kind of the smaller tips and tricks that I want to show you, is how to move your indicator from the bottom to the top. And that's just this little arrow right here that says move pane up. Doing so will put it at the top. If you want to move it down, just move it down. You can actually put the indicator directly on the chart like so, just dragging it on here. And as you can see, that now has made a mess of my chart. And I don't like that. So the next thing I'm going to do, if you ever do that by mistake, is just go to the settings of that indicator and go to new pane above. Go to move to new pane above, and that'll put that back into its own pane above here, back into its own little box to keep it from being really messy and on your chart. I know when I started my first time trying to use TradingView, I would do this all the time, and I'd be like, holy shit, how do I get that away from here? All you got to do is click move to, and then click new pane below. Super simple there. There are a couple of other questions I get asked pretty frequently, and one of them is how to change the settings of an indicator. If you hover over the indicator, for instance, we're on the RSI right now, and you go to this little gear icon, that's how you change the settings, meaning the length, the source, that's how you change the style if you want it to be different colors. This is how you get to that. You can also double click the indicator like so and get to the same exact menu. You can also right click the indicator and go to settings to get to the same exact menu. It's the same way for moving averages and for any other indicator. That's how you go through the process of editing an indicator. If you put a moving average on the chart, all you gotta do is double click it. And after you double click it, you can change the length to whatever you would like. Also, double clicking on the chart itself will take away all indicators. Double click again and it'll come back. The next thing, and the final little nuance that I get asked all the time, is how do I customize the Fibonacci indicator, which it's the same exact thing. Again, I know this kind of sounds self-explanatory, but I can understand it being a bit confusing if you're brand new. So just double click it or right click and click settings, and then you can customize it however you would like to. For me, specifically, I do not like it having a background. I don't use 4.236, 2.1 or 2.618, or 1.618 or 3.618. I don't use any of those, and I like for all of these to just be black lines instead of different colors. So I just come through and change all of that. You can also change the value of any of these to whatever number you would like, and I also don't like the prices being on there. I'd rather just see the levels. So that's how you customize your indicators and the Fibonacci retracement. With most things, it's just a double click or a right click and then click settings. But I did want to show you guys that here at the end of the video. So those are a couple of different nuances, along with what I feel like is everything you need to know about the TradingView platform in order to get started and use it efficiently. Of course, there's going to be times that you just have to play around with some of this in order to get accustomed to it, and that's totally fine. There's a learning curve with every trading platform, but hopefully this helps to shorten yours dramatically by now understanding what every button on TradingView does. I know it was a long one. I know it may have been boring to those of you who are seasoned veterans with TradingView. If you stuck it out to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. Looks like we're gonna hit 1 million subscribers today. So I wanna thank all of you who have subscribed, all of you who have continued to view our content. Words can't even express how appreciative I am of that. And with that said, I have a birthday coming up within the next few days. So I'm gonna head off to a beach vacation, but I did want to leave you guys with some good content that you can use to start your trading journey with the TradingView platform efficiently. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe and click that like button. Comment below if you made it to the end, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you soon.